last time the quarry at Bentley was in action, it was 1971, 50 years ago. Now, the Richmond Valley Council is considering whether it should be allowed to restart. The quarry did begin operations again in 2018, and a community group is concerned that the quarry is getting bigger. Rosemary Joseph is the group's spokesperson and joins me now. Good morning.
Good morning, Jo.
What are the issues with the quarry? Can you describe where it is and, what the locale is like?
Well, ironically, the position is opposite, if you recall, the Bentley blockade in 2014, Gate A, where all the action took place. The quarry is opposite that iconic site.
And, what kind of impact would it have if it were allowed to go ahead and expand?
Well, if it's going to be allowed to go ahead and expand to, it's just going to change our valley forever. It's the beginning of the industrialisation of our valley that we fought so hard to stop in 2014. And we're having to start this fight all over again to save our valley from industrialisation.
What's been the history of the site? It was a quarry up until 1971?
It was basically, my understanding, used as a borrow pit, and it was a farm quarry, and around 71, 72, that sort of period, some gravel was taken out of it, I think, to do the local road, or to sort of like when they were sealing the road, they used some of it as base for that road. It's my understanding of it. But it was never a commercial quarry as such. Oh.
And what's the proposal for?
The proposal is for a 300,000 tonnes per year extraction limit, up to 100 truck movements a day on that incredibly dangerous road. It will be the size of 12 football fields. It will be as deep as about a 10-storey building. They're asking for blasting, rock crushing. So visually, it's just going to be this dreadful. It's equivalent to an open-cut coal mine visually at the end of the day, and for 30 years. And
the application is before council, I take it? Have you also made representations?
Well, the doesn't go on public exhibition till December the 13th, and we have until February the 1st to put submissions in against the development application. But, we have this incredible situation where, on the one hand, council's going to be assessing a DA. On the other hand, it's going before the Land and Environment Court to test the lawfulness or not of the existing quarry. So to me, that's really, they're at odds with each other. Mm.
And what impact will it have on residents who live in Bentley?
Oh, well, where do I start? Just thinking, one, the danger on the road. Already, that road is so dangerous and full of potholes. It's a very, very busy road. We were told originally there'd be 2 truck movements a day on that road from the quarry. Well, we've counted some days in excess of 30, 40 truck movements a day. So there's already a lot of trucks. And I've actually experienced I sort of call it the terror of driving in front of one of the quarry trucks. They drive so close you can't even see the grills. I think if I've got to stop, there's going to be a dreadful accident. So you've got that. But more importantly, well, it's not more important than the road danger, but we've got other. It's a rural valley, and there's a lot of very environmentally sustainable projects that have been operating in that valley and are planned to operate in that valley. And again, ironically, the plans that we have for the valley fit in absolutely perfectly with Richmond Valley Destination Management Plan, which they wrote to cover 2021, 2025, where they say that they want to encourage and support private sector investors to enhance existing and develop new tourism products, which they say is essential to attract visitors to the area. They want to create and promote agri and cultural tourism experiences. All of those things are either existing in Bentley or in the planning stages in Bentley. And all of these things will just be basically destroyed if we have a mega quarry there. It's a huge industry.
Rosemary Joseph, thanks for telling me the issue.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jo.
Rosemary Joseph, she's from the Bentley Community Group. Well, Richmond Valley Council General Manager Vaughan McDonald says a key issue of continuing use right is about whether the quarry had ever been abandoned. He spoke with our reporter, Emma Rennie.
Oh, look, we're certainly aware of the concerns from the residents in the Bentley area. We've been monitoring the activities since I brought to our attention a few years back. There is a small quarry existing on the Bentley Road. We've monitored that. It's got a continuing use right. That's been our assessment of the activity. It's been a quarry since back in the early 70s and has had it's what's called a continuing use right. Quarries are a permissible activity in that zone. But obviously what's now proposed is a significant increase in activity on that site, hence the need for a development application, and we will go through the process of assessing that DA, which will obviously include public consultation. The exhibition commences next Monday, so we'll work through that process, and ultimately the Northern Region Planning Panel is the determining authority, so they will make a decision on it.
The Beyond Bentley group has said that that Richmond Valley Council had informed it that the quarry operator has said to council that there was always this quarry that and that those had raised the issue of the continuing land use right, but this group is pretty adamant that doesn't apply because the quarry has not been operational since the 70s. So can you shed some light on that and council's stance on that?
Yeah, look, we've done a full assessment through the period of time that they've raised concerns with. It's certainly been used at times, since the 70s. Obviously, the operation has increased a bit in the last few years, but the property's changed owners through that period of time. But it's certainly been a quarry. We've assessed it, our professional staff. They've looked at aerial photos right across that period of time and made a determination that there's a continuing use of that as a quarry. It's been intermittent, but that's the assessment. It's had a small extraction amount. And look, we understand people have concerns when things are proposed on neighbouring properties in areas where they live, but our job is to assess what is happening on its merits. I think, it has been a small operation, and what is proposed is a significant increase. So we'll take that into account, assess it, and a decision will get made.
What is the time frame in which something does have to sort of operate to be considered eligible under those continuing land use rights?
Oh, look, it's continuing use is where an activity is permissible and continues to be permissible, and so that has been claimed in this case. We've assessed it. Our staff have made a determination that that is valid. I'm aware that this group did seek a legal opinion, as is their right. Our staff didn't agree with that in its entirety. So that's our position. We've made that clear. The group has obviously made the decision to take the matter to the Land Environment Court, and will respect that process.
To clarify, is it correct to say or fair to say that continuing use is not necessarily about a specific time frame, but more about the fact that it was a quarry, it was approved to be a quarry, and a quarry is still permissible under the current zoning, so time frame is not necessarily the key point of concern here?
Oh, look, I think the key issue here is has that continuing use right been abandoned? Our assessment is that there's never been a point in time at which it was abandoned, which means completely stopped and rehabilitated. That's obviously a point of contention, but if there's action in the Land Environment Court, we'll leave that to the court to determine.
So on the topic of this proposed expansion of the quarry, how significant is the expansion that we're talking about here?
Oh, yeah, look, it's a significant expansion. What is proposed is an annual extraction rate of 300,000 tonnes. with a maximum daily extraction rate of around 2,000 tonnes per day, seeking approval for a period of 30 years. It's a significant expansion. Let's be clear about that. That's why it needs to go through the integrated development process, and due to the scale of that, it triggers the determining authority being the Northern Region Planning Panel. So council will administer the assessment process. There'll be a public exhibition period which will commence from next Monday, the 13th of December, and go through until the 1st of February. All of the details will be on Richmond Valley Council's website, so all members of the community will be able to review those documents and make submissions to council. They'll then get assessed as part of the integrated assessment process, which obviously the DA gets referred to other government agencies for their views, things like environment, traffic, and other issues that would need to be considered as part of a quarry operation.
The council, I guess, have any preliminary concerns about proposed quarry of this size? The Beyond Bentley group has talked about needing sort of 30 or more truck movements every day on a rural road network, on an already dangerous road. Does council have any concerns of that nature or others?
Yeah, so look, council will assess this development application. Obviously, it ends up with the planning panel. With any development, there are impacts, and obviously the increase in the proposed extraction rates here are significant. So there'll be increased truck movements, traffic movements, and they'll all need to be considered and addressed by the development application. It'll need to look at improvements to the access and egress from the site. They're all factors that would need to be considered. Look, quarries, trucks, yes, they have impacts on our roads. This road is actually designated as a regional road. In our area, we've got a lot of quarries across the Richmond Valley, some on highways, some on regional roads, but some actually on gravel roads and more minor roads. So all of those factors will be taken into consideration. As part of the determination process, if this was to proceed, obviously it would be conditions of consent that could address those sort of issues. Or these might be factors that the panel and the assessment process determines can't be adequately addressed. So that's what the planning process is for. We'll let that process work its way through. The public will have the opportunity to give their views. And all that will be taken into account, and a report will go to the Northern Region Planning Panel.
Vaughan McDonald, the General Manager of the Richmond Valley Council. Charles has texted in regarding this story. He says, not once did anyone ask the previous owners if the quarry had been abandoned. My family owned it for a number of years, and it certainly had not been used for decades. The proponent also supplied deceptive and misleading information to council regarding its history. We've lived next door for more than 20 years, so I think we're qualified to talk about its history. Thanks very much, Charles.